So I decided to make a quick video to help everybody with the Quanum Venture helicopter get everything set up and going quick. As you see here, I have the Venture. This is the deluxe edition. Came with everything on it. I did that to make everything a little bit easier. I already have the receiver mounted. So what I'll do is probably go back and make a video of how to get all that stuff plugged in correctly. But right now it's already in. So first thing you're going to want to do when you get this in is get your receiver mounted and your battery charged and ready to plug in, because you will need it plugged in to connect to the computer to do the setups. The next thing you're going to need is cable. It's a mic. This is a micro USB. So it doesn't zoom in on it, but it comes with like every pretty much new phone there is, except for an Apple. I happen to have a few of them because of all the computers, so mine's already plugged in to the USB and plugged into the copter on the bottom there. Here you see this is a Naza program, but you can download this program right off of Naza's website. You want to make sure it's the Lite version, so that's the website right there. You just go to the Naza-M Lite downloads section and you'll be able to get the Naza software. For you PC guys, you're going to need the Naza Assistant software, and wouldn't hurt to get the manual, and you're going to need the drivers. Don't forget the drivers, because if you plug it in, you're probably not going to get anything to work anyways. You will, use the drivers from DJI, not the stuff that Windows is going to install on there, if it even installs. This is a Windows 7 computer. It did not install anything. It came back as like drivers not found. So once you get that installed, you're going to end up with this program here. And when it starts up, let me just restart this again. There, so you're going to see this. If it says skip on there, that means you definitely don't have the drivers or you're not plugged in. It won't give you that skip option if you're plugged in. So you have to see everything's dead, everything's moot, everything's as it was, factory. So let's power up the helicopter. I'm going to turn your radio on first. I happen to have the DX6i radio. It's not the best, but it works. It's from another helicopter. Plug this guy in here. Alright. There you go, and you heard the computer connecting. That green light means you're connected to the computer. So we'll go over here and install this. Start this up and read. There, see? No skip. Went right to the program. So now you're going to see I have some settings already in here. But to get everything started, basically you're going to start off in basic. The Quanum Venture is an X rotor per se. They call it an H in their advertisement because of the way it flies. And but because of the camera forward design on it and everything, we call it the H. But it's still in the setup, for setup reasons, it's an X. All right. Now this mounting page is going to give you how far from the center of gravity your Naza flight controller is. It's already zip tied in there from the factory. Once you pull it out and make all your connections, you then pull that tape off and stick it in permanently. And these numbers were in here from the factory. They're not in there anymore, so I'm not sure. I haven't never measured how close they are to the correct settings, but it flies fantastic so far. So I haven't done enough measuring to check it. I don't have they're in metric, and I've got, I'm here in the USA, so I have an inch tape measure, so I don't feel like doing the calculations yet. But here's your transmitter and receiver setup. Now this is going to be basically where you're going to be able to see the channel changes, see, tested everything out. And this is where you're going to do your calibration as a first step. So down here, you're going to want to start this calibration. And here's it'll give you a nice pop-up. Their software's real nice. You're going to want to move that's what I'm doing right now. I've got throttle and rudder. You want to go all the way to all the corners on there. You want to get them all a few times, because you're basically setting where the max is See that? So there we go. So once you've done it a few times, you click that finish. Yeah, there you go. Now, if you center your sticks, which mine are centered about right there, you should see that they're all pretty much in the center, and my throttle's just a hair off, it's in the center too. This is a number one thing because you don't know how far off from the stock software it's in the Naza your settings are. You could, you know, you may wind throttle all the way up, and in reality you're only getting 75% through the flight controller, so this is an important step. Next is the calibration mode down here for your control mode setup. I have a separate video that shows you how to get all your switch positions on here. So if you look, I got GPS and attitude. I also have manual, and I also have failsafe. So I have all the functions on nothing more than a DX6i with 2 position switches, and I did that using the mix setups. So, you know, if that's something you definitely check out my other video that I have on my page, and it'll show you how to do all those, because it's pretty nice to have all those settings. So this is really easy to do. Basically, what happens is you're going to take your 2 switches that's tied to that port on the Naza, and you're going to move them back and forth, and I use the landing gear, and you're going to change the travel positions in your radio so that when you flip that switch, it hits 2 travel positions, which is basically what I did. Actually, let me turn off Addy. So this is the 2 travel positions I have on the one switch, and then back and forth between manual and GPS. So I set those up by basically maxing out my travel positions for each position to where they hit here, and then the trick for the multiple switch positions is going into your mixer and setting the gear up so that it's only a portion of the gear switches travel on another switch. So that's Addy. The one switch I used for that was my ailerons, and then for my mixer button, I just use it with like 25% for that or something. So you can see that all in my other video. I do not have gimbal, so you're not going to have anything here. If you guys are lucky enough to have a better radio than I have, you'll have something here. Gain control setting on this. Alright, this is all for attitude. Vertical here has nothing. It will vertical and yaw in manual have no effect at all. So basically, you're doing this is the basic gains, and then attitude gains for here. So this is my settings here, and it flies very good here. So you can see that like the pitch and attitude is only 120%, and if you're in manual mode, you're 145. It's going to go quite a bit more. And then they don't have anything. The way they put this is kind of strange because they don't put it, you know, under attitude. But their vertical and yaw are in attitude effect only. So those work pretty well. A few people that have used my settings say they fly great with those. So get you onward. The motor idle speed is, you know, everything is pretty well written over here, but it's basically the idle speed that's your motor is, and then how your cutoff is. I left it on intelligent cutoff. What that means is with my throttle turned all the way down, it still doesn't shut the motors down. They go to this idle speed. And to shut off, to shut my motors off, I'll have to go, I'm not going to do it, but with both, but this one will be down to the right like this, and this one will be also down to the right, or down to the left. You know, so both this way or both this way, I believe up. Basically, either the same corners will allow you to start and stop the motors. Immediately means they'll shut down immediately when you hit under that percent. So I'm new, so I don't want to, you know, accidentally smack the bottom of the throttle and have it drop out of the sky like a rock. Fail-safe mode setting here is landing mode, which means if you lose transmitter, it'll hover and then begin to land, and it's all described on this side how that works out. And go home and landing means it'll fly above 20 meters and then return to home and then drop on you. And now again, that fail-safe mode is if the transmitter signal is lost, or if you did like I did and on here have the ability to trigger fail-safe manually. So if I were to, you know, flip that into fail-safe, it would do that feature of go home. So intelligent orientation control. I do not have this set up yet. That's another simple thing is this is the orange RX. All I'd have to do is plug one of my other extra wires that I have into that last port on here and run it to the X2 port on the Naza, and I can have intelligent orientation control. I wish I'd have known that before I glued, or stuck everything in place, because I'd have done that. And for my 2-position switches, I'm already using both my mixers to get me all 4 flight modes. Otherwise I could set a mixer up for this too and get more than just one or the other, but with only 2-position switches I can have off and course lock, or off and home lock. And basically, if in the pictures there, they'll show you, home lock, forward on your radio is always going to bring you back towards your home. Backwards is always going to take you away from home. And then your arrow directions are your side to side. In course lock, depending on where you're facing, what your course is, it's always going to be toward that course waypoint. Toward the course waypoint is always going to be up and back, regardless of what way the craft is facing. And then off is obviously nose, tail. So again, I don't have those set up yet. I'll probably use home lock just for those panic emergencies when I'm not sure where I'm at, or if I take off my FPV equipment and I want to fly it back home, I can just hit up, forward and bring it right back to me. Again, I don't have the gimbal settings, so I can't really help you much. Sorry about that. This is just the voltage settings for your loaded, no load, and these are the stock positions that are on here. So I've actually flown. I'm at 11 volts on my. Excuse me. I'm at 11 volts on my radio. Sorry about that. And I actually flown about 15 minutes on this Forest battery that I've got, or the 3S 4000 milliamp hour battery. So it's got some pretty good flight time on it. That's about it for this, unless you want to import, export. So if you've got a parameter that works well, or you want, even mine, I can just send you those and you can import these parameters. I can send you those to you if you're on Quantum Venture Owners Group. I can just send them right to you. And that's about it. And the upgrade information's here, so that's about it to get you guys started, really. Number one, just making sure you did your command stick calibration. You want these calibrated for sure. And then your setup, you're gonna get funny lights, because when it comes stock, when I got this stock, this bar, it was basically, this arrow was way over here, and then the other it was over here. So you had 2 points that were way on the sides, and you were basically gets you stuck in failsafe until you set this up. So if you're getting rapid yellow blinking lights, that's the cause of that. So I hope that helps you guys out. If you have any questions, I can make another video. I plan on making another one to show you the setup of the radio and the transmitter on here. Basically, this is about the best place I could find to stick it. Underneath there's a support here, so I stuck mine on top. I know it kind of stinks because the battery comes a little in contact with it, but that's about with this one. Unless I had longer, if I had longer wires, I could probably have turned it around or something, but then this is too short, so it's a rock and hard place in that one. So alright, hope this helped you. Again, if you have any questions, and the Quantum Venture Owners Group on Facebook, we'll see if we can help you any more there.